Hey everyone, I'm Chung Win for Gotta Be Mobile, and in this video review, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the Samsung Galaxy Tab 3 8.0. As you can see here, this is an 8-inch tablet as part of Samsung's third generation Galaxy Tab lineup. It's a mid-range tablet, and the 8-inch size slots right in the middle between the 7-inch and the 10.1-inch tablet. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the features and the design of the Galaxy Tab 3 8.0 first before we dive into the software and how this tablet stacks up with some of the competitors, including the Galaxy Note 3 or the Galaxy Note 8.0 and the iPad mini, which has a 7.9-inch display. As you can see here, this is an 8-inch panel. It's an LCD panel and not the Super AMOLED panel typically found on Samsung smartphones. However, the design of the tablet itself takes a radical departure from the 7-inch Galaxy Tab and the Galaxy Tab 2 series, in that it bears a resemblance that's more akin to the Galaxy S4 smartphone in portrait orientation. As you can see, the rounded corners on the top and the bottom are very similar to the design of the Galaxy S4. In addition, you do have the trio of Android navigation keys here in the bottom, which resembles that also on the Galaxy S4 and is present on Samsung's new tablet lineup. So this is a new design language for the tablet range. And also, like the Galaxy S4, you can see that the bezels are extremely thin. So you have a super slim bezel. So despite having a tablet that has 1-inch a 1-inch larger display diagonally than the Galaxy Tab 3 7.0 tablet, this one you can still grip in one hand, as you can see I'm doing here in my left hand. And the narrow bezel makes the device a bit narrower when you're looking at the width. So it can easily slip into a coat or jacket pocket as well. So it adds to the portability and the transportability of this tablet. The display is slightly better than the Galaxy Tab 3 7.0, which has a slightly lower resolution display. So this display actually has a 1280 by 800 pixel display. And the 1280 pixel here in the vertical form, you have full access to the display, as the navigation keys from the older tablet, which was on screen, have now been moved off screen. So you have the capacitive touchscreen menu button, a physical hardware home button that you can press in on, and another capacitive touch key here for the back button. So this is on the bottom of the bottom of the screen in portrait orientation, and you can also use it in landscape orientation, and it will be on the side. At the top, you have an ambient light sensor here, as well as a front-facing camera. The front-facing camera is only a 1.3 megapixel camera, so it's not the newer 2 megapixel camera that's on the Galaxy S4. So the display and the navigation key and the front-facing camera pretty much occupy the entirety of the front panel. On the left-hand spine of the display, all you have is a clean spine except for this little port here, and you can lift out the door, and it's actually a micro SDXC card slot. So you can augment the 16 gigabytes of onboard storage of this tablet with a micro SD card up to another 64 gigs. So you do have plenty of space to work with for files such as videos, music, and photos. At the top, you have a 3.5mm headphone jack, and on the right-hand spine of the display, you have the power button, followed by the volume up and down rocker, and here you have an infrared port. So this IR blaster is actually used to control your home entertainment system, and Samsung also bundles remote control software, so you can use your tablet as a large touchscreen remote control for your HD TV. And then on the bottom, you have what's different here this year is that Samsung is doing away with its proprietary dock connector. So you do have a micro USB connector here with MHL capabilities. So you can so the port here actually takes up less space, so it's more elegant to the overall package, and it also closely more mimics the iPad mini's Lightning port, which is also a smaller version of Apple's previous generation dock connector. You do have stereo speakers here in the bottom of the tablet, one speaker each flanking the micro USB port. The problem with the speaker placement is that when you're holding it in portrait mode, the sound comes out in the bottom and it's not terribly loud, and if you're angling the tablet against your body as so, the speakers can get muted. I prefer the old Galaxy Tab 2 10.1 series, where it's configured to be used in landscape orientation, and the speakers are on the front, so you have one speaker on the left side and one speaker on the right hand side here. So it gives better stereo output as well as in terms of speaker performance. The device overall is pretty slim. Let's go ahead and compare it with the Galaxy Note 8.0. So both devices here, I have the Note 8.0 on the left and the Galaxy Tab 3 8.0 on the right. Both devices have the same 8-inch panel. The Note 8.0 also has the same resolution of 1280 by 800 and the same button configuration that Samsung's using on its recent generation devices. However, as you can see on the Note 8.0, you do have wider bezels on the sides, and that's in part to accommodate the active digitizer because it does come with the S Pen functionality that the Galaxy Tab lacks. So the Note 8.0 is a little bit pricier and it's more aimed at a premium audience. So as you can see here, in terms of height, both devices are about the same height, but with the Galaxy Tab 3 8.0 is a bit more narrow than the Note 8.0. And in terms of thickness, the Note 8.0 is a little bit more thick. And then in terms of on the rear side, the camera placement is a little bit different. On the Note 8.0 at the AT&T version here, the camera placement is in the center top, whereas on the Galaxy Tab 3 8.0, it's on the upper left-hand side. Let's go ahead and compare the device. Here I have the white iPad mini. So the iPad mini has a 7.9-inch display. However, the aspect ratios are quite a bit different. You can see on the Galaxy Tab and also on the Galaxy Note, the 8-inch version, both devices use a 16:10 aspect ratio. So you have a more narrow display here. So let's see how they stack up. In terms of width, the iPad mini is wider, but the iPad mini is quite a bit shorter as well compared to the Galaxy Tab 3 8.0. I actually prefer reading and using the wider aspect ratio display on the iPad mini. However, when it comes to portability, I actually prefer the Galaxy Tab 3 8.0 since the more narrow width is easier to hold in one hand, and also you can slip it easier into a jacket pocket. Samsung uses a dual-core 1.5 gigahertz processor along with 1.5 gigs of RAM on this device, so it's not the snappiest device on the market. The Galaxy Note 8.0 has a better quad-core processor, but in terms of everyday tasks such as streaming videos and music, watching YouTube videos, using Google Maps, taking pictures, checking email, and even reading ebooks, this device does fine. And you can also play casual games as well. More graphics intense game will stutter a little bit, but this is an overall great tablet, and you do have the ability to use it for multimedia purposes with the infrared blaster on the side. And as you can see here, Samsung also bundles a number of functionality from its Galaxy S4 lineup, including a bunch of widgets here that you can use. There's a multimedia widget, a multi-window widget, which allows for multitasking, so you can run two applications side by side. So if I were to, take a memo, I can go ahead and start my memo here. And then I can also run another application such as open up a document, so I can copy information from a PowerPoint to a memo really quickly and easily. So I can run those two applications side by side in either portrait or landscape applications, and multi-window view is compatible with a number of default applications as well as some third-party ones like Facebook and Twitter, which I haven't installed on this unit right now. I actually just performed a hard reset not too long ago, so those applications have been removed. And you can also resize the window, as you can see that I'm doing here. There's also some flexibility with the software. In terms of the keyboard itself, there are a number of different options for the keyboard. I have here this movable and repositionable keyboard, so I can go ahead and reposition the keyboard anywhere on the screen. And if I move it all over to the side, it actually is better for one-handed usability, so I can type just by holding the tablet with the palm of my hand and then reaching over with my thumb in portrait orientation. I can also long press on this options button and then do a split screen keyboard, so I can use both hands and two thumbs to type, as you can see. And then if I go ahead and use the standard default keyboard, the nice thing about this is that it has a dedicated number row. So for those users who are used to complex alphanumeric passwords and visiting websites and entering passwords all day, this keyboard actually saves time, so you don't have to go into the symbols and then change to the number view to type in the number and then change to the alpha view to go to the alphabet. And then, like the Galaxy S4, this is a swipeable keyboard, so you can go ahead and swipe your screen across the letters to connect the letters to form words. So for new users, it does take some getting used to, as it's not as natural as pecking and typing. But for users who prefer this method, it actually does save some time, and I think accuracy is a little bit better in the autocorrect than with pecking the letters itself on the keyboard. In terms of applications itself, Samsung does bundle a number of applications on this device. The major thing is that there's no calendar application. It's now rebranded as S Planner, and it's a move that was present on the Galaxy Note 8.0 as well. It's basically Samsung's calendar view, and you can see here you can view it in different orientations, and you can go ahead and configure it so you can connect your Google Calendar as well. For those who prefer the Android calendar, you can go ahead and download the Google Calendar from the Google Play Store or any third-party calendar applications as well. This tablet does have access to Play Store, Play Music, so you do have access to all-access streaming radio, play movies and TV shows, play books, and play magazines for your content. What's missing is the Samsung Hub, which was present on the Samsung Galaxy S4, and the Samsung Hub actually allows you to go ahead and download and have access to Samsung content such as music, videos, books, and also games and apps, so you can purchase them directly from Samsung. Here, the Samsung ecosystem is still separated, so you do have Samsung apps, but you don't have access to other Samsung digital content to download, purchase, or rent. Another software feature that's used is the remote control feature. So you do have, what's confusing is that you have two separate remote control applications. You have the Peel remote and also Watch On, which is Samsung's remote. Both remote applications allow you to have a visual UI. So instead of changing channels by just merely entering in numbers into a remote control, you can actually command it just by watching with the visual UI. So if you want to watch ESPN Sports Center, all you have to do is tap on the icon versus trying to remember that it's channel 1066 here in my hometown. So this is the Peel application. And then also you have the Samsung Watch On application as well, which offers similar functionality as the Peel app. Samsung does offer a little bit more functionality with its remote application, in that you can actually, if you have a Samsung TV that's connected to the same Wi-Fi network as the Galaxy Tab 3 8.0, you can actually continue watching your TV on the tablet. So if you're grilling for the next big sports game, for instance, you can go ahead and take your tablet outside to the patio, do your grilling, watch it, and then continue watching it once you walk indoors on the big screen TV. So you're not missing any television moments. Also, it also allows you to search for content, both what's playing through your cable box or satellite TV, as well as online. So it does have access to some digital services to pull up additional content for on-demand viewing. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at the Samsung camera application. What's different about this compared to the Galaxy Note, for those considering both tablets, is that this one uses the newer camera UI that was introduced on the Galaxy S4, which has quick access to the mode dial here. So you can have different settings, and Samsung included a number of them, just like on the Galaxy S4. Compare that to the Galaxy Note 8.0 here. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the camera UI. Here you don't have the quick access to the mode dial and all the settings are on the side, or you can go ahead and adjust the setting by hitting the menu button here as I'm doing. The tablet has pretty good battery life for an 8-inch tablet. Battery life range anywhere between 8 hours and 10 hours depending on the task that you're doing. The tablet that I have right now is a Wi-Fi only tablet, but Samsung will likely introduce a tablet with 3G, 4G, and perhaps even voice calling capabilities, though US users may find that their carrier won't support voice calling on an 8-inch tablet. So that feature may get nixed once the tablet arrives in the US. And in terms of usability, although I love the portability and the ability to grip the tablet with one hand because of the narrow bezels, I did find that if you're holding the tablet, you know, with one hand or even with both hands, sometimes just touching the side of the screen would activate inadvertent screen commands. So the screen might think you're trying to press it when you're not. So unlike the iPad mini, which has intelligent algorithms to know that you're actually just touching, here I'm pressing in on the screen here, but it knows that I'm gripping the screen here and I'm not actually trying to press against the screen, versus on this tablet when I'm doing the same thing, it thinks that I'm doing a long press on the screen. So that's one issue. The other issue is that when I'm holding the tablet in landscape orientation, sometimes I find myself just inadvertently hitting the soft keys here on the right hand side. So if I'm holding it like this and I'm watching a Netflix show, for instance, sometimes the tablet thinks that I'm trying to exit Netflix and the tablet just closes out of the Netflix application. So those are just some usability concerns. The tablet itself is priced in the mid-range category at $299. The 7-inch version, which comes with slightly lesser specs, is priced at $199. That version has a slightly lower resolution, slightly smaller screen, and also the processor is slightly clocked at a lower speed and there's less RAM. So you're getting a little bit more with the 8-inch version. You're paying $100 premium for the screen size, whereas the 10.1-inch version is priced at $100 more, so you're looking at $399 instead of $299. At $299, the tablet is very competitive against the iPad mini, which starts at $329. So this you do get so the price is a little bit less than the iPad mini, but you do get a lot more. Samsung also includes extra perks such as free cloud storage through Dropbox for a couple years. It also includes a $10 gift voucher to the Google Play Store, so you can get started with some content once you're taking the tablet out of the box. And it also includes just a number of other software enhancements that I think makes this tablet just a good choice for anyone looking at a 7 or 8-inch tablet. So for those shopping for an affordable 7 or 8-inch tablet, we have the Galaxy Tab 3 8.0, the iPad mini, and also the Galaxy Note 8.0. The Galaxy Note 8.0 actually starts at $399, so it's a little bit more expensive. It's a premium tablet. The Wi-Fi version is $399, and the AT&T version is $399 with a mandatory 2-year service agreement. So you're paying for the S Pen functionality on the Galaxy Note. For those users looking at just a great tablet, I think the Galaxy Tab 3 8.0 is an all-around tablet. It's great for media consumption, for controlling your home entertainment center with the infrared port, and it's also great for multitaskers. The camera itself is very usable. Pictures at 5 megapixel resolution are, they're standard pictures, nothing to write home about, but you do get some good quality shots as well. Auto balance and the screen auto balance and autofocus were actually pretty good on the screen. So I actually went out and took some pictures, and you can see some of them here. Just great pictures, nothing too sharp. Once you zoom in, you're gonna not have as much detail just because of the the slightly smaller or less megapixel rich sensor here. So it gets really blurry once you start zooming in. But be sure to read our full review on GottaBeMobile.com. I'm Chung Nguyen for Gotta Be Mobile. Thanks for joining me in this video review of the Galaxy Tab 3 8.0.